Don't tell me you guys are still using this stuff.
The FDA has approved over 863 chemicals in these foods, as well as thousands of others. And it's gotten so bad that the state of Texas has demanded that all of these foods must have a warning label on them that says unfit for human consumption. Most people have absolutely no idea that all of these foods behind me literally contain hundreds of dangerous chemicals. Parents especially, please listen.
How is it that people are just finding out about this and we've been using it for years? I'm talking everybody.
Is Dawn dish soap toxic? Unfortunately, yes. Here's why. It says it removes 99% of grease and food residues, but what it leaves behind trashes your gut and your health. They're literally trying to trick you with this little duck to make you think this soap is soft and gentle, and it's absolutely not. In fact, the only ingredient on this bottle that's 100% safe is water. They'll list something like fragrance and it says adds fragrance, but really what it's adding is endocrine disruption to your body in the form of phthalates. Sodium lauryl sulfate provides cleansing. No, it trashes your skin, removing the oil so other toxins inside of this product can absorb through your skin. And again, this may be tough on grease, but it's tough on your gut because all these chemicals are left as residue. So when you're eating on your food, you're literally ingesting these toxins that you can easily avoid.
I know it's not you, but how many people do you think are using that type of dish soap? How about the laundry soap?
Stop using traditional detergents. These things are full of toxic chemicals. They're so toxic you can smell them coming out of the plastic bottle. Chemicals like fragrances, sodium lauryl sulfate, and phthalates can be both carcinogenic and hormone disruptive. And the optical brighteners they add to this stuff to give your clothes the appearance of being clean can also be carcinogenic.
And I've showed you guys some of this stuff before. It actually says on the bottle, under the caution, which nobody ever reads, that you're not even supposed to get that stuff on your skin or you need to seek medical attention. If you're washing your clothes your entire life, every single week, you pull it out of the dryer, it still smells like that same scent that you cleaned your clothes with. Do you think all those toxins are getting out of your clothes? Even medical professionals are speaking out.
So California is actually the first state that has come out and put a ban on 4 common food ingredients, including red dye number 3, propylated paraben, brominated vegetable oil, and potassium bromate. These are common ingredients in packaged foods that are on the shelf at the grocery store. This includes candy, Skittles, Peeps, Nerds. This includes packaged baked goods, Betty Crocker muffins, packaged cinnamon rolls. It includes certain citrus beverages that are on the shelf. This ban will not actually go into effect until 2027, though, because the government has allowed 4 years of time for these companies to actually modify their ingredients before they are physically removed from the shelf.
Folks, this is coming from a surgeon. How is it that they can tell us that this stuff is all carcinogenic? It shouldn't have been in our stuff forever, but we're gonna give the company 4 years to remove it. Does that not blow your mind?
So as a colorectal surgeon and someone who is actually seeing an increase in the young onset colorectal cancers, in the younger onset diverticulitis cases, inflammatory bowel diseases that we are seeing, all of which have been linked to ingredients within packaged foods and processed foods. This is concerning to me. These are only 4 ingredients that are there and within many of the packaged foods that are on the shelf that we are all consuming, have been consuming, and is probably somehow related to the increase in all of these diseases that we are all seeing across the board. It concerns me, what this means and holds for our younger generations, for my children and you all's children. And I have to say that, I myself am trying to make an effort, and you should too, to try and eliminate these food items.
The truth is coming out more and more, and people are eating up this information, asking, why have we never heard about this before, and looking for safe alternatives. It's no wonder that everyone's getting sick and needing medications, right? Well, I've got a treat for you today. One of my good friends introduced me to these concepts a couple years ago, and he knows a lot, and he happened to be in the area, and I got the chance to sucker him in to an interview, and we're gonna go over that interview and all of that crazy information with you guys today. Stay tuned.
Hey
guys, my name is Cohen here at Riverside Homestead, and if you're brand new here, welcome. And if you guys are into prepping tips, emergency preparedness, and most important, news and awareness that affects you, be sure to start this video off with a like, hit that notification bell so you guys can stay up to date, and let's begin. So a lot of us know that, and people have heard that the conglomerates, that there's a monopoly out there of stores that basically own just about everything. Can you tell us a little bit about like what that looks like?
Yeah, so I've gone so far down the rabbit hole in consumer goods, shelf-stable consumables is another way to think about it. It's interesting if you look at the history of consumer goods or consumer packaged goods manufacturers and manufacturing. Not only has a lot of it been shipped overseas the last 50 years, but it's become extremely consolidated. There used to be hundreds of family-owned, made in America options. Made in North America options, maybe. And as the last 50 years or so have gone by, what you observe if you study the space is the big guys have gobbled up the little guys. Ingredients have changed, lawsuits are flying, consumers are being deceived. And so my focus started to shift to the really big guys that have been gobbling everybody up. I'm just kind of bringing common sense to the, like, I'm not necessarily a real smart guy. I'm looking at the lay of the land here, and I'm observing the big guys it's gotten to the point now where they own everything. 98% of consumer packaged goods they own.
So like when we go into a store, they use the term illusion of choice.
Oh yeah.
Because you think you've got all of these options, but yet they all go to the top of the pyramid as far as the umbrella of the monopoly.
Right. Who owns and controls those brands? It's all the same little, group of, well, they're not little. There's a smaller group of companies that owns all this stuff. And if you I like to look at what appears to drive these companies, the people making the decisions at these mega conglomerates, what's their decisions look like over time. And one of the really easy ways for a lay person, a nobody like me, to try to unravel this is to look at the history of lawsuits. Look at
that was my next question. So and that leads right into my next question I had is like, people don't realize that these companies out there have got tons of lawsuits, tons of settlements, and I'm talking about millions and billions of dollars being paid out. Yeah. I mean, what do you know about that?
Yeah, as I look at all that stuff, it doesn't, have to be real smart to come away with a feeling of, it seems like they care primarily about money and maybe power also, but definitely money. The primary driver appears to be financial, not how are your kids doing?
Yeah.
Is this product we're pushing out into the global market? In many cases, it's all over the world. It's not, they're shipping products in from all over the place, and these same products are on the grocery store shelves in Asia and Europe. Well, maybe not Europe because they're pretty strict, but any country will let them get away with it. Here come these toxic products. So why would a manufacturer, why would these conglomerates, in the 2020s, in the modern era, why would any of these companies that are worth billions or hundreds of billions of dollars, $1 trillion maybe, some of the real big ones, how is it that we have toxic products in grocery stores within reach of our children and our grandchildren? Like, why is that a thing? Is it just because this is where my head goes? Is it just because when we go to clean our floor, the only way mankind is aware of effectively cleaning a floor is with some toxic, dangerous, that's the only way? It has to be toxic, dangerous. There's no, humans have never discovered a safe, kind of a benign way or a product that also actually cleans the floor really well. It must just not be a thing. Otherwise, these mega conglomerates, certainly, they kind of care a little bit about our kids, don't they?
Think so.
You would think so. But the history of lawsuits shows otherwise. The really big consumer goods manufacturers have this. It looks like, I kind of visualize it as this, it's a river of body bags. It's devastated families, ruined lives, dead kids, dead people, sick people for decades. It didn't happen like once, and Cohen and I, we're going to pick on that,
Right.
No, it happens all the time, still right now.
And that comes down to the profit over people.
Yes.
Right? There's a term out there, profit over people, and they're using from what I've researched, tons of new synthetic ingredients where they don't have to tell you the difference between, they just put sugar. They don't put high fructose corn syrup. They just put sugar. So you don't know where the sugar's coming from. You don't know that it's made in a lab and not good for you. People are thinking it's cane sugar. No, it's not cane sugar, because that's not the cheapest version to go with for them to make more money. Another question I had is like, so you've got these huge companies, these huge monstrous companies paying out all these settlement claims and getting sued, and the stuff still stays on the shelves, which it blows my mind that it still gets to stay on the shelves. Where does the money come from that they get to pay out millions and billions?
Yeah, it's an exercise I think most of us don't really get there because we're busy. You know, like most of us these days, we're just trying to keep the wheels on in our own life. So taking the time to consider, where do the billions of dollars come from to pay for the cost of all this product negligence? When they get caught hurting somebody, here comes a lawsuit, or here comes lots of lawsuits. Where's all the money come from to pay the attorneys, all that stuff? There's another layer to this. If you look at the amount of debt most, maybe all of these giant manufacturers carry, Procter & Gamble last year or the year before spent over $500 million just paying interest on debt. So as a consumer, as just like I use toothpaste and stuff, I'm a human, I'm breathing, I have teeth and armpits. So I'm sitting here going, so I buy these sorts of things my whole life. If the company I'm shopping with, if the company I'm buying from has a history of not seeming to care about my kids or my health or anything other than money, that's concerning.
Yeah.
Secondarily, if they appear to just be really wasteful financially, well, the money has to come from somewhere. That must mean, logically, it follows that $4 tube of toothpaste I just bought, or whatever it is, part of that purchase price, to come back to your original question, it goes to pay legal stuff. It goes to pay for poor decisions at a corporate level. How does a company that's 100 years old, worth billions of dollars, end up billions and billions and billions of dollars in debt, paying hundreds of millions of dollars a year in interest? Somebody's making decisions that invite that kind of pain, that kind of inefficiency, that kind of waste. So who gets saddled? To come back again, who pays for all that?
We do.
Little guys, nobody's.
Yeah. So every time we buy that tube of toothpaste or that laundry detergent or dish soap or like a part of that money goes to pay for what they're responsible for.
We fund it. It comes out of our pockets.
Jeez.
Yeah. And on top of all that, it's not like it's, that's just, we're getting a really amazing product. So, here comes my money, Procter & Gamble. That isn't the case. They're subpar, poor quality, and really often very toxic, dangerous substances, products.
So what people need to realize is now's the time. I mean, it is emergent to realize what's going on out there. What are the bullet points that people need to know?
Right, and I would say this is like today, because the ramifications are short, mid, and long-term health consequences. This is really interesting. So I talk to consumers all the time. This is the work that I've been in for years. I run into people really often they have itchy skin. They have little daily quality of life things going on. Like it tends to drag down their daily quality of life. It's not to the point where you go to the doctor. Most of us, I don't think. You just kind of put up with it. You're like, I don't feel great.
Extra tired.
Yeah, you run out of gas early, it's any number of things. And I'm not trying to play doctor here, but I just run into a lot of people that are a little run down, and the skin thing comes up a lot. Itchy skin, irritated skin, this sort of thing. And I'm like, I wonder if they're having a subpar day-to-day experience of life because they soak their clothing and their bedding in toxic laundry detergent.
Yeah.
And then you soak it in there, it gets it all swished up and mixed up and all in the fabric, and then it kind of rinses it, mostly. If it's a good washing machine, it kind of mostly rinses it, and then you put it in the dryer, you heat that toxic stuff up, and then you put it directly on your skin all day, and then at night, it's almost inescapable. You have this toxic residue on your skin. No wonder your skin hates you.
Yeah, right?
Right, so there's short, mid, and long-term health consequences. This isn't like, we're not wondering, I wonder if there are short, mid-term, and long-term. We know, it's well established, has been for decades. We aren't wondering, is this gonna hurt us? It's hurting us.
Right.
Right now.
Yeah.
Like today. in your house, the air you breathe, the surfaces we touch, the surfaces we put our food on, and that's a whole nother. Those all-purpose sprays and stuff that people use.
Breathing
in
it
their kitchens.
in.
Oh, it's so bad. It's so toxic. So it is no longer a question. It's not like science hasn't been done and we haven't heard terrible stories, terrible outcomes. We know, well established, this is really bad for us. So what can we do?
Yeah, so people continue to go to the store, continue to buy the stuff, continue to get hurt. Have we found a solution? Is there a last man standing store out there that is holding and waving the flag for Americans' health, that has almost 500 consumer products that are American made, non-toxic ingredients, and supporting family-owned business that has our interest at heart?
If that exists. It would be such a weird thing, because if you look at Tom's of Maine, was that Tom in Maine, I guess? If you look at any of those stories where the mega conglomerates showed up with a, blank check, Tom, here's $100 million to, let us take over. How do you say no to that? Like, I'm thinking about your wife, your kids.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about my family.
Millions.
If I, built Tom's of Maine or Burt's Bees or one of these brands we've all seen, and then the mega conglomerates show up with their big fat checkbook. Here's a massive check that'll pay the rest of your life, your kids' life, their kids' lives. Like, how does a mere mortal say no to that? And I think that's really why the little guys have sold out. Hundreds and hundreds of formerly family-owned companies no longer are that way, because here come the big fat check. So there is this family that when Procter & Gamble showed up with a blank check, he said no. And it wasn't a short-term ploy to get a bigger payday a year or two later. The first time Procter & Gamble wrote in with their big fat checkbook was in the 90s, 30 years ago. 40 years ago almost. And he said no. As I become more aware of the history of this family-owned manufacturer that refuses to sell out, still to this day, it becomes clear that money isn't the primary motivator. This guy is odd. Principle driven and committed to some outcome other than just getting filthy rich. It's kind of part of the American dream for most of us, I think. Anybody entrepreneurial, to become wealthy beyond, your wildest dreams is kind of a big deal. That would be really cool.
Yeah.
And he said no. Over and over, and to this day, he says no. So we've had an opportunity to see, well, what about the product negligence, product liability stuff? Has there been kind of fast and loose decisions? What about debt? What about other opportunities for inefficiency, waste, laziness? It's kind of normal human stuff, actually. It's really hard not to have that in an organization, especially one that's been around 10, 20 years, I think, 40, 50 years. But these guys are clean.
Debt-free?
Debt-free. They've never had a single product liability, product negligence issue ever. They never spent a penny. Their insurance company has never had to kick in to pay a claim or pay an out-of-court settlement. And the only conclusion logically we can come to is they must never have hurt anybody. Despite sending billions of products around the globe over the last many decades, they haven't hurt anybody. Otherwise, they would have been sued. We live in America. That's how it works. So that stuff hasn't happened. So to me, it starts to look like good versus evil. It starts to look like David versus Goliath. It looks like, we're doing, like you and I are doing Robin Hood stuff.
Yeah, totally. Like I said, kind of last man standing. It's kind of shocking that there's still a company out there that you can go to.
That you could trust.
That's
weird.
And get healthy stuff that actually works.
Yeah.
And you don't have to go to Walmart again. You don't have to go to Amazon necessarily again. You don't have to go to Costco, the Kroger's, where you go there and you have to research every single thing that you get because there's no more trust.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I have friends sometimes that say, wait a minute, you don't go to Amazon. And I want to throw this in just real quick because Outlier, this oddity that we've discovered, their specialty is consumer packaged goods, not TVs, tires, toasters, or a million other things. So the fact of the matter is, I still shop on Amazon. I still go to the big stores to get stuff. My desire is to shop family-owned, locally sourced, made domestically. I love that stuff. I think it makes sense that we all kind of vote with our dollars that way as much as we can. And I'm not aware of a company that makes fill in the blank, any number of things domestically. So the reality of the world we live in right now is we still have to go, if you need some of those things that just aren't made here, well, go do it. But in the area of consumer packaged goods, all that boring background stuff of life, the stuff we all buy, as long as we're breathing, that is the one we've got an alternative for.
Wow.
One other thought, in case this is interesting, you might want to consult your priest and fast for 30 days as you contemplate changing where you buy your toothpaste, switching stores. It's a really difficult, it's a scary decision. The prices are about the same, but it is good versus evil. One's really amazing and the others are terrible. I can appreciate why it's a very difficult decision, and you should definitely think about this for a few years.
So my thought is there something that we can do right now? Is there something that people need to be doing?
I think one of the hardest things is how busy and distracted we are. I was thinking about yesterday or the day before or any day this year. Like, my experience of life is I am pulled in a lot of directions, distracted all the time. And I think so many of us kind of default our way through life, and the conglomerates count on this. They know, I'm aware, like your pattern, probably a really nice person. You probably don't want to give your money to these companies we've been describing that don't care about you and your family. All they want is your money, and they're just so inefficient, so wasteful. It's just, the whole thing's terrible, right? And so mentally right now, you're probably like, oh yeah, it makes sense. I should switch. And as I'm watching the video on my phone or my computer, I got, 7 other things going on in the other room, and here comes distraction, here comes life. So I think maybe one of the friendliest things we could suggest is ultimately this benefits you. Like, this changes how you feel. This changes not only how you feel in here, but also how your body feels. Getting the toxic garbage out of your house, switching for the rest of your life, and maybe test it and just make sure we're not crazy. And if you like it, prices are about the same, then why not stay switched? That's what I'm doing. That's what you're doing. That's what our families do. Like, why would I ever go back and get the toxic stuff? Why would I ever go vote for all that mess with my money ever again if I don't have to? So my concern is distraction. I think my life is full of really nice people who mean well. And if you don't act right now for your own sake, like if I don't act right now when I come across something, okay, this matters, I've learned in my own life, I better act right now. Otherwise, a week, a month, a year, 4 years is going to go by before I'm like, oh, I should switch. I should look into that. I should at least look into it. So all I would encourage is, if any of this is connecting, for your own sake, for your own family's sake, hit the link. One of Cohen's friends will ping you with kind of the scoop, a little more detail. So some of what we have here, but a little bit of a deeper dive to come out the other side with a more complete awareness, and then also an intro into the alternative, test out, get some deals and stuff.
Yeah, I wish that we would have switched stores a long time ago. We switched about 2 years ago, and it's been the best thing. It's a sense of mind that we don't even have to worry about our stuff as more and more continues to dump out on social media, learning about what's in stuff. Like, we don't even have to think about it.
Yeah.
We don't have to think about it. And the fact that the company's been around for decades.
Yeah.
And I've only been part of it for 2 years is just like, man, I wish we would have been living a clean lifestyle a lot earlier. But at least we're here now.
Yeah. Better late than never.
Better late than never. So yeah, I'm not sure if you guys are still shopping at Amazon. Not sure if you're still going to Walmart. I would say it's very, very sketchy these days. I mean, I do videos on this type of stuff all the time. If you're the type of person that wants to look at an option at switching over to American-made, non-toxic, and support family-owned, there'll be a link in the description and the pinned comment. Check it out. Get some information. See if it's a good fit for you and your family.